Eureka! I have to say that with the exclamation kind of set out there. Eureka is premiering in a couple days on Disney Plus as of when we're recording this. Disney Junior as well. So I've got Disney Plus, so of course I'm going to be watching it. I got a young kid, and I'm going to get back to that in just a little bit to explain a bit more. How did you get involved with this project?
They called management and said that they were interested in me being a part of this series, and there was an episode that they wanted to have me in, and told me about this. The name, her name would be Yurt, and she was a famous drummer, and she's coming in and told me about Eureka. So Eureka that's the name of it. Eureka, yes, animated music field series. But it's this young girl who's very, very talented, and she thinks outside the box. She has a big heart. She has a way of doing things. She has a huge imagination, and she always wants to make the world a better place. And when I hear that, I'm going, oh, that's right up my alley. I really want to be a part of this. And Eureka always wanted to do that. This is in prehistoric times where humans and dinosaurs coexist. So Yurt is a famous drummer. She comes into town, in the world of Rocky Falls, and Eureka's best friend, his name is Barry. He's also a drummer. So I come into town to perform, and Barry, we meet, and he wants to show me how he plays. I love this part about it because in real life, I actually do mentor young people all the time, a couple of times a week, if not more. And I mentor them from all over the world. And I speak with their parents and always encouraging them, to continue to practice and move forward. And, any advice that I have for them, and I'm a fan, and keep practicing and keep pushing. And, the work that you put in is what you're going to get back. So with Yurt, I come into town, and Barry wants to show me how to play. And I tell him, I see that you're trying to play like me, and that might not be possible right now. I really want you to be yourself and play you. I want to hear what Barry sounds like. And I think that that's important to hear. We want to hear the young people. We want to hear your voice. We want to inspire you to hear your voice and find out who you are. And that's so important in these times. And that's what I love why I love this series with Eureka, because she's so innovative. It allows kids to really use their imagination and think about heart and making the world a better place. The kids need that right now. They really do.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever invented anything?
I think I'm always inventing things every single day. Where I'm creating, it's inventing. When I'm thinking about writing a song or something pops in my head, that's inventing to me. But I don't know. Maybe I have. I can't think of anything right now, but that's inventing music.
and I was thinking as I was thinking about that question, I'm like, well, in a way, writing music, creating music, that's invention in and of itself. And it's funny. I never thought of it in that context before until literally just right now. That's constant invention. If you're doing music, you're inventing all the time.
Yeah.
Where did the character name Yurt come from?
That was the name that they chose, Yurt. And I never even asked them, but they chose that name. And actually, the other cool thing about it is that in doing this after I did the dialogue, because they sketched out what Yurt might look like, asked me, what did I think? And I was like, this is really cool. And if I had any ideas on, clothing or whatever. And I was like, no, I love what you're doing. Maybe the earrings or something. But it was really cool. And when I read the dialogue, I came into the studio dressed a little bit in color, inspired by what they had sketched, just so I could get into character. And we did the speaking, and then later on they came back and said, we want you to play drums, because there's a section where Yurt teaches Barry, and then Barry has to play and learn from Yurt. So I was able to play drums. I videotaped myself in my studio so that they could see me playing. And so the drums that you hear from me and from Barry are both me playing, and I thought that was kind of cool to be able to do that as well.
Very cool. When you create all of your parts for this spot on the show, how much? I mean, was there much other interaction with other characters, or is it other voice parts? Obviously, voice actors. And there's, I encourage anyone listening to this, look at the list. There's a ton of talent involved with this show. But do you interact with any of them more, or is this all kind of your thing? Like you just do your part. You were kind of mentioning recording the drum part. How does that technically work as you're doing a part for a Disney show like this?
Yeah, they just gave me my lines, and I spoke my lines. We were in the studio, and there a big screen where we had like 8 or 10 people on the screen, and we spoke for a minute. They told me what they wanted, and we did different takes and different ways of saying things. It was just my lines. And so as of this morning was the first time I heard Barry's voice, and the first time I actually saw the whole thing animated, because I only saw a sketch, and I was just like, oh my God, there I am, animated. It was like, wow, that's so cool. Had no idea. So to be able to see it this morning, a little bit of that episode was very, like, I felt like a little kid. It was pretty cool.
Which episode is it going to be? Do you happen to know offhand?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I'll have to watch the whole thing. And like I was saying,
I know it starts Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was saying at the beginning, kind of leading up to this, I have Disney Plus at home. My wife got it because she was a Disney person going back. I mean, I watch Disney, but she's a hardcore. And we got a 1-year-old. So every so often we'll bring up those sorts of shows. This will be added to the list. I can guarantee. I'm not just saying that. It will be. So to wrap up here before I let you go, having a 1-year-old, and I want her to get more involved with music, because I've had just here in town, I do music and stuff like that. So I want her to get involved. What's the best musical advice you can give to a child of that age, 15 months old, and they're just starting to figure it out? What would you say to someone in that role?
You just let them be themselves. I mean, whatever, they're going to be influenced by what you bring in the house. And what my dad did was, and my mom was an athlete, and she was funny, and she loves music as well. And she's a dancer, and she's just crazy. And I got that side of that, and then my dad being a musician. So my dad playing music in the house every single day. Like, we hardly watched television. We hung out together. We didn't have the technical devices that we have now. But again, in these times, utilize these devices, because you can learn music on your iPads. You can teach the kids. There's so many musical things for young kids right now to be able to learn from. But whatever you bring for your daughter to be influenced by is what she'll remember growing up, playing different types of music. It's like my dad played everything. He played all kind of music in the household. And then, watching him play percussion was amazing. And then I was in the 3rd grade, 9 years old, and my dad says, I want you to play violin. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? So then I became a violinist, and first violin, played for 5 years scholarships. I mean, that came out of nowhere. So whatever you can give and bring to her, she will be much appreciated.
That is awesome advice. We'll definitely follow it and definitely watch the show. Anyone listening, watch the show. Eureka premieres on Wednesday. Disney Junior, Disney Plus. Sheila E., thank you so much for taking some time. Looking forward to the guest spot, and all the best going down the road.
Thank you so much.